look at what's affected the past and the potential it has for the future, for the rest of this century and beyond, it's definitely the internet.
He was a man of routine. You know, we'd get up and we'd play tennis in the morning, and then we would go to the cleaners, and then we'd have lunch, and then we'd go to Shoppers Drug Mart, and then we'd come home and have a nap. And that was every Saturday.
He was a good listener, and he was very quiet and very deliberate. People would mistake that for thinking that he wasn't listening or that he didn't have an opinion, but he had an opinion. He was just save it to the end.
He was always calming, always said, calm down. Nobody works best if you're all upset. So if we need a few minutes, fine. But then we're just going to solve this. We're going to work our way through this. He was brilliant in that way.
He knew how to negotiate. He knew how to get what he wanted. He understood what he wanted. So he was able to blend, I think, this, the social side of connecting with people with, advancing his business interests, and do it in a very, above board manner.
He loved building things, and he liked to see an idea go from idea through fruition in a defined time period, and real estate allowed him to do it, and it allowed him to do it over and over again.
He was able to take an idea that he had in the mid-90s and translate it into a public company with an enterprise value in excess of $10 billion.
I met Tom over 20 years ago. The idea was, could we do a multi-residential REIT? REITs were brand new. Within the year of CapREIT being created, that was the start. So it was new and innovative in that sense. You also had people who were putting quite a bit of money at risk if this failed. But he brought his gut instinct to it and had the vision of not where the property is now, but where he could take it with proper management, capital expenditures, and so forth. And his gut would say, when people were saying in the room, you're paying too much for that, he would say, yeah, just come back in 5 years and we'll talk about it.
His idea was to amalgamate apartments into a structure with a professionalized management, because most of the apartment market at the time was pretty fragmented and owned privately.
He said, I'm going to take a philosophy that I had used in previous projects, and I'm going to treat my tenants well and make them happy, and in turn they'll want to stay, they'll want to pay more money, and they'll treat my buildings better, and we're going to do that with apartment buildings. No one had done it before. In the 80s, he built a chain of retirement homes that catered to seniors but provided luxury hotel amenities. He was the first person to do that. It was the same philosophy. He raised the bar and introduced institutionalized apartment management and brought the concept of tenant service and making your tenants happy to the apartment industry in Canada, then went on to do it in Ireland.
If you think about 2007, 2008, people were more focused on Greece and Spain and Italy in terms of areas of distress and potential opportunities as far as value is concerned from a real estate perspective. He was one of the few that was thinking about Ireland, and if you look at what he's done there and what CapREIT has done there, it really paid off for them.
He had this gut instinct that he could add real value there because there was no professional management. We became the biggest landlord in Ireland in 3.5 years, and still are. Tom took it from 2,000 apartments when we first went public to over 55,000 apartments and manufactured housing sites. He had the vision and the foresight and the people skills to build the most outstanding platform in real estate, multi-residential in Canada. And I would say you could stack it up against many leading companies in the United States to find its equal.
I think he touched so many parts of the real estate industry. He touched residential, he touched seniors, he touched commercial, he was a developer, he was a property owner, he was a property manager. I think just by the nature of touching so many parts of the real estate over his 45 career would be one thing. And really wanted to help people and wanted to help people through real estate. And you combine those two things, you end up with, I think, what was a pretty unique career. My dad was very proud, very humble, and avoided the spotlight. But he was very proud of his accomplishments. And I think he would be very proud if he were here today, that he was being honored and recognized by a group of his peers. And my family and I thank NAOP for this recognition.
Thank you, NAOP, for recognizing my dad for his achievements and accomplishments. It means a lot to our family.
He was a mentor to me. I could look to his leadership, look to the pride he took in his work, look to how hard he worked. And the sum of all of that, his love of mentoring defines him better than anything else. He just loved to help young people. I'm so thankful to NAOP for recognizing my great friend and brilliant businessman and pioneer, Tom Schwartz.